Hello, good morning. My name is Nur Aisyah binti Abu Naim. My matrix number is 23DLS 20F1049.
Hi Aisha. So my name is Anisha and my matrix number is 23DLS20F1003. So today we're going to talk about the biggest crisis every college student goes through, money management. If you're finding it hard to make ends meet in college, you're not alone, trust me. Rising tuition costs and living expenses make it increasingly challenging for students to stay on a budget. That doesn't mean you have to be a starving student. There are plenty of great ways to save money in college. So that's why Aisha and I are going to give you guys some tips and tricks to save money in college. Hope this will be helpful for you guys. Stay tuned.
So today I will continue about tips and tricks how to save money in college. First, my tips and trick is to keep saving your loose change. As you guys know, this is one of the easiest way to starting saving money is to put aside your spare change in a jar and not touch it until the end of the year. The great thing about this, you guys does not feel like sacrificing a lot compared to putting away RM ringgit. Next, the second one is you guys can exchange your plastic for cash, which means you make it a habit to collect recyclable goods like containers, old newspapers and magazines, glass bottle, and take to the recycling center. As you guys know, from there you guys will get some extra money too. So from this, you guys will not only helping the environment, but you guys will getting paid for your efforts too. Last but not least, do not own a car. You guys can use public transport provided like bus, train, and so many more. It is relatively cheap and affordable compared to driving your own car because it has incurred a lot of cost to car fuel services and cost to pay for your parking in college for sure.
That's a pretty good idea, Aisha. But I have something to add too. First, don't buy new textbook. New textbook can be surprisingly expensive. So before you hit the bookstore, see if you can borrow a book from a fellow student or from a university library. If not, buy or rent used textbook from your senior. This way you can save a lot of money. Second, don't leave home without a student ID card. Discounts are available on everything from clothing to laptop, notebook, computers. For those with a valid student ID, you can get pretty much everything in discount. For example, we can get discount in movie ticket and popcorn if we have student ID. Do you know that? That's amazing, right? Third, make a budget and keep track of your expenses. Creating a budget may not seem like the most fun way to spend your time, but when you have to save money in college, it can make managing money easier. Money can easily slip away if you don't keep track of where your resources go and come. List all your expenses from rent to food, laundry to cup of latte to a night on a town, everything. This way, you can keep track of your expenses and you know where your money go and come. That's all. So Aisha, here's a question for you. What are the disadvantages if we didn't spend our allowance wisely?
The first one is no emergency money for a rainy days, which means you did not know when a disaster going to strike and you are going to need some extra money. Something maybe breaks down and needs to be immediate fixing. Like one day maybe your laptop will be damaged, like can't turn on and need to be fixing. We did not know and we can't plan these unexpected expenses and emergency. The second one is you guys will get health problems such as stress, depression, because you guys always keep thinking how to get money to eat, for foods and so more. Your learning also will be affected because you will not be able to focus in class. In a conclusion, the point is you guys need to start saving as soon as you can. It can be hard to do sometimes, but you guys just make yourself do it like no pain no gain. So you guys if you guys do not save, you will be in trouble. So try it if you possibly can. So Anisha, can I ask you a question? What is benefit of saving money?
That's a good question, Aisha. We can use it during emergencies such as medical or economic emergency. Take this for an example. Everyone in the world going through economic crisis right now because of COVID-19. Many people are losing their job, their home, everything. But we can use our saving money during this time. Saving money is not something that we all should be embarrassed about. We should all be proud of it because we actually saving ourselves from this kind of emergencies like medical, anything, anything. Like we're going to study and we need the money, we can use our own money. We don't have to be dependent on others. It's better to save money now than to be sorry later. So remember that we all should have our own savings money. Most of college students are living on a budget. If not, we are likely to get ourselves into a cycle of debt. There is nothing to be embarrassed about living in a budget. You can become smarter about the way you spend your money than being in a debt. Keep in mind that the key to financial success is being aware of how you're spending your money. Also know that there is a difference between being cheap and having spending savvy. There is nothing wrong with living within your means rather than beyond. The art is not in making money, but keeping it. That's the moral value that we all should learn out of this talk. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thank you.
Dough, moolah, cash. Whatever you call it, money is important in all stages of your life. But for most students, it is hard to come by and more importantly, hard to hold on to. Luckily, I've got your back because in this video, I'm going to share 5 practical ways to save money as a student without working. So whether you are living off prior savings or strictly on school loans, make sure to watch until the end of number 5 because I know this will be a tip that you've never even thought about implementing. Method number 1, create and follow a budget. Failing to plan is planning to fail. While in university, I always listened to my friends complain that they never had any money. Yet, they never put in the effort to actually track their spending. How can you possibly save money if you have no idea where it's all going? Prior to the semester starting, calculate how much money you have to allocate to your expenses each month. This amount is your monthly budget. Then disperse this amount into your different budget line items like rent, food, bills, etc. As you start your semester, track your expenses on your phone or on paper against your budgeted line item amounts to ensure that you stay on track with your spending. Like Peter Drucker says, what isn't measured isn't managed. So don't be shy to use that cell phone for more than just swiping right. Method number 2, be selective with textbooks. Buying textbooks is the bane of every student's existence. Dropping your hard-earned cash on books that you barely open is not a good time, but luckily there are ways around this painful experience. When I was in school, my favorite way to avoid hefty textbook fees was to consult the library copy of the textbook as needed. For the few times I would need to read the textbook, I didn't mind hanging around the library. However, if you are someone who hates the library, don't worry, I have some other options for you. You can become friends with someone in class and go 50-50 on the book cost, or rent a book instead of buying it. If you're someone who wants to own the book for the future, opt for the ebook to avoid the printing cost of the textbook, and save a few trees while you're at it. Method number 3, learn to cook. Whether it's whipping up some craft dinner or a 5-course meal, cooking your own meals will save you mega cash when living the student life. Let's do a little math to illustrate this point. The average student food bill for a month is $250 USD, which includes 3 meals per day. The average lunch at your school cafeteria or fast food joint costs roughly $10 a meal or $30 a day if you eat out every meal, amounting to a monthly total of $900. Obviously, eating out is much more expensive, and these are conservative figures. Not to mention, cooking your own meals will typically be much healthier, so that's an added bonus. So if you want to keep your budget and waistline in check, get cooking, Chef Ramsay. Method number 4, party on the cheap. During my 7 years in post-secondary education, I made it a mission to party on the cheap. Some nights, I even made money going out as I would find money at the bar left by people who had a few too many drinks. So how did I manage to party and not break the bank? Here are two of my favorite tips. Number 1, pre-drink. Because why pay the same amount for 2 drinks at the bar when you can buy a whole bottle for the same price? And number 2, appoint a designated driver. A large portion of the cost of partying comes from paying for Ubers or cabs. To cut down on the costs, rotate who in your group of friends will be the sober Sally for the night so that everyone can reduce the cost of their night out. By employing these 2 tips, you can reduce your cost of a night out to just the cost of cover, which is minimal in most places, while still having an amazing time. Method number 5, detach from social media. Now, before you rant and rave that using social media like Facebook and Instagram is free and discredit this money-saving tip, let me explain to you that there are hidden costs to this behavior. Have you ever used social media and got FOMO, or the fear of missing out? Maybe it's seeing your peers enjoying a concert or sporting their new expensive outfit. While using social media seems harmless, it is affecting our spending habits. For instance, if you see your friends always partying, of course you will feel more inclined to go out at the next chance you get, costing you money and reducing your savings potential. The same goes for seeing your favorite influencer wearing a new outfit that now you must have. In short, social media is making us more inclined to spend, and as a student, saving is hard enough with the high tuition and living costs that most students face these days. Therefore, cut down on your social media time to avoid unnecessary spending. Trust me, your bank account will thank you.